What a day, what a lovely day for some DreamHack right here in Denver where, oh man, it's so exciting. We're right in the middle of this Quake Champions tournament and it's just been the craziest day of events. It's been the craziest weekend of duels and sacrifice matches and we are coming down to the wire. Every loss at this point is now a chance to sit in the bleachers and watch the rest of the matches, which is, you know, something I've been enjoying myself as well. But of course, joining me here, we've got Ketchup and Machiavelli. Are you guys ready for the semifinal?
I think it's been such a ridiculous day. I'm definitely ready, but the results are going to be just, it's going to be whatever. Whoever wins is going to win. Noctis, ridiculously talented. GaRpY, of course, ridiculously talented. A Myztro Grand Final would be insane. But what I find the most interesting is that we have Duel, all EU left, obviously with Sacrifice being both NA. I mean, this has been quite an interesting day for finals.
Yeah, it's like we said earlier, it's just a weird day today. There's something in the air. I just can't figure it out. It's the day of the underdog upsets. Even in the last match, you know, I was in the stands watching Dewey, and it seemed like he had that. It's like one that got away from him. And then credit to Razy, though, keeping his head in the game. Oh, yeah. Was making sure he didn't overcommit in certain areas. And I just, weird sequence of events, I must say. Because, you know, when you're looking at the match, at first it's just like, you know, it doesn't look like it's his game. It looks like it's Dewey's game, and all of a sudden
it's always unfortunate, right? Where every single fight goes your way, apart from the final one, which is the one that loses you the tournament.
That one does matter a bit, yeah. But of course, this sequence of events has led us to this bracket, and oh man, who could have predicted this? Certainly not myself. And it's going to be Razy waiting in the grand final, waiting for either GaRpY or Noctis to come up to it. And you were right, Ketchup. We do have European players in Duel, and we have North American teams in Sacrifice. And generally, that's been like the stereotype, is that when it comes down to 1v1, Europe has a bit of an edge. When it comes to the team games, North America has a bit of an edge. And that was thwarted at QuakeCon, which was a bit of a shocker myself personally. But it looks like things, you know, despite all of the weirdness from the matches today, are starting to reassert some amount of what we expect here. Now, we're going to be going into GaRpY and Noctis. Everybody out there in Twitch chat, throw out your votes, as useless as they've been today. I want you guys to keep trying. We're going to get it right one of these times. Yes, exactly. So it's going to be down to GaRpY and Noctis. Oof.
To be honest, I think one of the major factors here is it's well and truly going to be a battle of stamina. These guys have been playing all day. I know that's the nature of a LAN. Of course, players will be playing all day. But the fact that it's all EU, jet lag is 100% going to be a factor here. These guys are going to be tired. Noctis has been playing in, obviously, Sacrifice as well as Duel. Noctis might be going into this one a little bit mad. You know, like he's like, well, I'm going to win something today. Now, maybe he wants to, you know, he's hungry for that.
I do want to point out that for Noctis, I mean, despite the fact that Stacked wasn't able to take down the Unlovables, who are quickly becoming incredibly lovable, Noctis was really doing just a god's work at that point. Like, his rails were awesome, his LG was awesome, his rockets were there, his shotgun quad runs were just absolutely fantastic. If he's able to carry that momentum, that inertia into this duel, I think GaRpY's got something to worry about.
Well, we saw him look very sharp in his earlier match against Rafa when he knocked him out. So,
yeah.
That's still an insane result.
And he really did carry over, you know, like you mentioned in Sacrifice. He had some amazing runs there. Rockets, pick a gun. I mean, he really did well. But GaRpY's been playing very solid. You know, I've had an opportunity to watch him over this event, and just very steady play from him. Very consistent. Love the rocket placement from him. He's very good and very precise about where he places his rockets. So again, this is going to be a very tactical game. But we may see, I don't know, this is, I can't figure out who I want to go with on this one.
The thing is, I mean, they've both collected some insanely talented heads going into this tournament, but I think GaRpY has had a crazy good run, also being 3-0 in the group stages, and he was in the group of death as well, and somehow managed to be the most dominant player going out of that. He pulled off pretty much the most miraculous comeback we've seen, arguably in Quake Champions. The only other comeback that might have topped that being in the qualification stages was made by GaRpY as well. Unfortunately, in the round after that, he did swiftly kill himself and ruin all momentum, but that hasn't happened since. So, no, we can keep everything crossed. But Noctis in himself, there's no way anyone can deny that Noctis is just not a top-level player in all of these game modes. And
absolutely.
I know the crazy thing is that even though he's been quite open about how Duel is not his main focus, he has years and years of experience in Duel, and those fundamentals will carry over no matter what.
Well, I mean, today, right now, the fact that Noctis has had to play some Sacrifice and kind of recover from that one, the fact that GaRpY's been able to sit back and watch some of the other matches, it's really a balancing act, a weighing act to see, you know, which of that makes more of a difference here. But which way are you leaning, Machiavelli?
really liked play from both, but I'm gonna go with Noctis today. Don't quote me on that. I've been wrong all day today. I've been wrong all day today. But I really like to see Noctis break through and have a big, dual win under his belt to go along with his team accomplishments.
All right, so again, Twitch chat, you're still free to cast your own votes here, as you've heard this schmuck, weigh in. Now, Ketchup, what are you thinking?
I think GaRpY's had such an insane run. I just think he is riding so much of that hype train going right now. Group stages was destruction. His performances today have been unbelievable. I think he's going to carry on. I think GaRpY's going to take this. But I do think this one is likely to be 2-1.
Yesterday, I messed up because I was voting for Noctis over Kilson, and that was such an insanely close match. It came down to a couple of those last rockets. Do or die, right or wrong, I want to see Noctis actually push forward on this one. So I'm going to go with Noctis on this one, but I think it's, again, going to be really close, 2-1, no problem, like most of the matches have been today. So those are our votes. Those are our predictions. Twitch, which way did you go?
I'm really curious to see what people thought about this one. So, yeah, GaRpY and Noctis. GaRpY really hasn't been favored by the Masters today, but he has proved people wrong previously. But even on the flip side, Noctis was in a similar situation.
And you saying that makes me incredibly nervous. I mean, that's been the trend today. We're going to have to see if that trend continues. So, Machiavelli, catch up. Let's get into our first map. It's going to be Corrupted Keep. I'll catch you on the flip side.
Now, Corrupted Keep, those combat skills are going to become ever so prominent, but if what both these guys have shown us today, and particularly with Noctis on Sacrifice, where the frags are racking up left, right, and center, those close-range encounters, both of these guys are able to pull off some pretty magical rockets. Yeah,
I'm very curious how that's going to work out on such a fast-paced, rocket-oriented map like Corrupted Keep. It's going to be interesting. As usual, it's going to come down to these little decisions they make. Who can place the shots better in the critical moments, as we've seen. There's times where these games are in the balance. As you mentioned earlier, it's you win all these fights, but then you lose that one fight that really matters and it swings the round. It's frustrating. So they got to keep their head in the game. Whoever can play the more consistently, every player makes mistakes. It happens. So it's just whoever can stay consistent is going to win this game. Like I said, I was on the fence picking, so I really don't know.
Now, Anarchy, that was the champion we saw Noctis do great things with in Sacrifice, and he really was the MVP of Stacked. And going with that champion on Corrupted Keep doesn't really surprise us at all. He has got Sorlag as well, which is another champion. Pretty much just Anarchy and Sorlag in combination. Noctis has done some fantastic things with.
Yeah, I really like how he moves around with Sorlag. He kind of builds up the same kind of similar movement with Anarchy. I love how he uses his rocket jump because Sorlag has that bigger stack. He uses the rocket jump to get that extra speed and get around the map. His movement's very impressive. And again, his rocket play, as we saw earlier against Rafa, really carried the day for him. Even when Noctis seemed to be in bad situations where Rafa was going to push, some great defensive play from the Rockets really bailed him out and turned the tide at many times in that match. So I'm curious to see how this works out because, again, GaRpY also has some fantastic rockets. So I really want to see who wins this battle.
Very excited to see him. With Corrupted Keep, obviously GaRpY's aim, Zook can just go. Until the cows come home, he can praise GaRpY's aim. And a big part of that comes from not only rocket, but rail placement. Corrupted Keep not having a rail gun. I'm really excited to see how, gritty and dirty these fights are going to be. We're going to be going into Corrupted Keep GaRpY versus Noctis. Winner moves on into grand finals, but they've both been so proud of how far they've got so far. But this won't be enough. They want that top spot to face off against Razy.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. You want to get to the grand final and win that money.
Now, the difference is, Noctis understandably going in with the Anarchy first. This is a playground for Anarchy, 100%. But the Doomslayer, is the answer. It's not going to be a complete mirror just yet.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because of the stack differential. So Doomslayer gets pretty stacked, as we just see right there. It's very difficult. Even though he was landing some nice LG, it didn't matter.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he just had more health. But he's forced it off quite early on. Now we go into the Sorlag, which is another fantastic champion for Corrupted Keep. But I really feel like we've not seen a huge amount of Anarchy come out of GaRpY just yet. He's known for having a superb Anarchy, but it's not really been a champion he's brought to the table too much. He's used it when necessary, but it's not been the star performer today.
I've seen a lot of Doomslayer in these duels. Seem to be very effective, how these players are using him, the double jump especially. It's very curious. Anarchy's still great, but I like how he's mixing it up. You don't want to have your opponents have a beat on what exactly you're going to pick every game.
And of course, GaRpY actually mentioned in his interview earlier on that he believes that Doomslayer is currently his strongest champion too. So he's going into this clearly with the utmost respect. He's going all guns blazing. He's not messing around. And he's going to be showing Noctis the respect of his favorite champion and best champion currently.
Like the nail gun work, just kind of controlling doorways, making it difficult for Noctis, because with Sorlag, you can really eat a ton of nails coming down these hallways and doors.
He's going to notice that that acid spit didn't hit its mark, and he's going in to capitalize with the Berserk. I think he opted, it's a little bit too far away. Maybe going in for the punch was a bit of a risk.
Yeah, he decided to just go with a high position and good ground on that instead of, as you said, he was definitely out of range.
Out of rockets. This may be a horrendous situation. He's landing some super nails, but look at the difference in health. That's not a fight GaRpY wants to take. Very unfortunate position, actually, trying out of rockets.
Good nail gun work, though. Kind of, I think it made Noctis think twice about completely committing to that offensive. Oh.
Not able to land his mark whatsoever with that acid spit, and punished heavily by GaRpY's rockets. Needs to get a little bit more, but wow.
Yeah, that, again, the rocket play, it's just such a critical aspect of being great at Quake, and he certainly has it down.
It's very unfortunate, actually, Noctis. His acid spits didn't really achieve a huge amount in this round. I mean, like, obviously, the idea was there, but they just didn't land their mark at all. Coming in with those rockets, trading back and forth, but quite even health, in fact. Actually wonder how Noctis is going to try and recover with Doomslayer.
He's going to come over here and challenge for this Mega. He needs to get something going in him for this round.
GaRpY has hit some amazing rockets again. He's looking to do it. The patience! The patience.
Just great placement with those rockets. Again, I just can't say it enough. I was really impressed with them earlier. I'm maybe going to be wrong again today. It's just not my day with the
thing is, we asked Noctis during his interview, right? What sort of advice would you give to players that were landing the rockets? And the answer was basically, be patient. Predict the pattern, understand where they're going to land, fire accordingly. That was like a cookie-cutter example of how to use the rocket launcher from GaRpY.
Absolutely. And sometimes what players will do, when they land racks, they panic a little bit and try to flick these shots around rather than placing them, like Noctis was saying.
Oh, this is just fantastic accuracy on the heavy machine gun. That's not the first time we've seen GaRpY have an amazing tracking on the heavy machine gun. Look how far behind Noctis is right now. He's forced away from the heavy, and fighting for Mega here might be a little bit of a risk. He's going to try and go for it, though.
Yeah, definitely. GaRpY taking a safer route. Just wants to keep good ground and catch him coming out. Oh, he's got good chance here to put some damage on him.
The important thing was that he was actually trying to stay a little bit safer and use the Berserk, but just look at the LG. Impressive stuff. My. Finished off with the rocket, and GaRpY is not playing games.
And again, the rocket, I just can't stress it enough. The way he placed it, it was kind of an upward angle. He jumped a little bit, and he just placed it perfectly on the floor. Great shot.
I gotta say, one thing that we saw much praise come from GaRpY was just knowing what weapon to have at the right time. I don't think there's been a single point on this map where GaRpY has not had the perfect weapon for the distance between the two opponents.
Big part of the game. He looks very much in control. Noctis obviously got to make something get going for him. Oh, there we go.
Of course, he's going to lose his Doomslayer. I think he's going to try and do as much damage as physically possible. And he achieved a nice amount. He definitely did do so. And I think with the Mega taking a while to spawn, it's going to give GaRpY a little bit of time to get his bearings before they inevitably fight on one of these power-ups. And here we go, chasing it down with a nail. GaRpY being really aggressive, maybe a little bit too aggressive there.
They just wanted to try to steal or maybe put a little damage on him before he got away with that heavy armor. But Noctis in great shape with both major items right now. He could turn around. Like, it's early in the game, so anything can happen still.
Definitely, because they've traded it back and forth too. Sort of even terms in terms of champions, and Noctis didn't take a huge chunk of damage. GaRpY once again forced to retreat.
Fortunate to get out of that. That's one of those missed opportunities. I'm sure Noctis really wanted to kill there. But again, he's in great shape. He's got both items. He's probably going to head over here to Mega, try to... Oh, man, a little late. Ooh. Second late.
Ever so slightly, but...
Oh, no, he didn't grab it. I think GaRpY missed that.
Yeah, I think he either missed it and realized that, well, even if I have missed it, fighting for it now is going to be suicide. Yeah, try and get as much damage as possible, and that's really all you can ask for in that situation.
Yeah, that's probably one of the worst things you can do is when you miss an item is go back for it like that, because, yeah, it's unfortunate. It makes you want to go back. It's frustrating, but you really can't.
But the issue is GaRpY, he's taking all this damage and he's being forced to retreat, taking those smaller routes to get the health back up. But while he's doing that, Noctis is controlling both of these items so efficiently. And if Sorlag has that control, that's hard to take down.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we mentioned, this is
there you go.
Yeah, just because there's so many corners, right? They move around the map so fast. It is a fast-paced map. So running into the face of a Sorlag is nasty business.
Now, there's the Ghost Walk used. I love that, actually. Rocket Boost just if he's going to be anywhere near this heavy, just run in there and take it. Bumps into the pillar, so he's not going to be as fast, but...
Very aggressive by Noctis. He knows he has his back. What a great shot.
Fantastically aimed right there. And I mean, that's what happens when you pick these small champions, right? You know, you can dodge for days, you can be the most agile champion you want, but you eat one of those rockets like right there, you know, you eat one rocket and you just deleted in an instant. I mean, Nyx and Anarchy both have that problem.
Absolutely. Great play, great comeback round for Noctis. We're all tied up now. Again, it's just one mid-air rocket deserves another, I guess. That was a great finish.
It keeps coming down to how well they're being able to place these shots. And we definitely expected that. I mean, these are two really talented fraggers. Some of the most talented fraggers in the entire community, without the shadow of a doubt. And Noctis landing another one, looking to finish the job. Doesn't quite get the mid-air. Using the double jump to juke with the shotgun to finish the job right there. GaRpY.
Nice weapon switch to the shotgun. And, man, they're both just hitting some great rockets.
It's actually going to be a little bit harder sometimes to hit those rockets on Doomslayer when he goes for those really sporadic double jumps to just alter his jump arc.
Yeah, he's one of the more annoying characters to try to land some rockets on. But again, Noctis looking really strong. Something's kind of shifted here. GaRpY's got to find his momentum, his groove again. You know, I don't know. He's got to maybe try to get some damage on the Sorlag with some prediction rockets. You don't have a rail on this map, as people know, so it's a little more difficult to chip away at that health. You know, machine gun will do well, and maybe some long distance. Oh my goodness! Even
that little flick was just impressive. You know, the last minute, just knowing exactly where GaRpY is likely to be. Not as easy to hit Anarchy with those because of his increased air movement at all.
And then it's just interesting because of the differences in stack. You know, maybe if they take a little equal damage, the Sorlag just still has so much more left.
Fight towards Mega. Nice, that was a fortunate rocket that didn't connect as well, which allows GaRpY to kind of just swoop in there and get nice and healthy again.
Yeah, he really needed to steal there, and he got it. And he got it for free, which was the important thing, as you mentioned. That rocket missed very close.
He's now going to sit near Heavy, try and control. The problem is, taking these heavy machine gun fights, it's going to be in the favor of those smaller champions.
To some degree, because he can only take so much himself. So even if he lands a little bit more than the other guy, oh my.
That was a close fight. The Noctis comes off on top. But I guess in those kind of exchanges, right, where if the shots just straight up don't connect, then it's uncontested damage. But another fantastic rocket. Noctis is on fire right now.
Yeah, he's looking really sharp, starting to settle in here. Oh,
looking for another. I mean, GaRpY, he's got to be so careful. I mean, he's really trying to maintain some control. Doesn't want to get bullied. There we go! At the last second, just the right weapon for the right time, Machiavelli.
Great recognition by Noctis, recognizing, reading the low health of GaRpY and switching to a machine gun, just peeking out for that little bit of damage. He knew he couldn't take much more, and it was a very nice play, very smart. It just shows that he's on top of what the stack of his opponent is, because, you know, we've seen many times in these matches that if you make a miscalculation, whether they're higher than you think they are or lower, it can change the course of a game for sure.
He's going to get a little bit of ticking, but unfortunately, GaRpY's alive enough that he can sort of retreat there and try and get the stack back, but the danger has just been how well Noctis has been able to land these rockets consistently. And I mean, GaRpY can't really make a lot of these approaches on some of these items because if he eats one of those massive damaged rockets, he's forced to retreat, get some of his health back up, and it's all wasting a lot of time.
It seems like he's been struggling with Noctis's Sorlag play. You notice Sorlag has just gone to, Noctis has gone to Sorlag right away in these previous rounds, and it seems GaRpY's having a problem adjusting to that extra stack and really not getting himself in great fragging position.
I think with Sorlag on Corrupted Keep, even if Sorlag had the slight damage reduction on the ticking damage on the Spit, realistically, one of the best ways of dealing with Sorlag is to catch those rails from distance. Now GaRpY's going to go in for the kill, likely to secure this frag, but you never know, Noctis might be able to pull out some of those miraculous rockets, and GaRpY, once again disengaging, may have just been a little bit unaware of how much health Noctis had left.
That's, man, it's literally what I was just talking about.
You were saying, right?
I was literally just talking about that. Yeah, if he recognizes how low, if he knew how low he really was, I don't think he backs off there.
And I mean, GaRpY as well. You know, GaRpY has that knowledge all day. He's going in again, trying to continue the pressure once more, but one of those rockets temporarily puts him in the fight. It forces GaRpY to go, oh, do I really want to push this? Because one more rocket might have sent him out.
Yeah, very great defense. I mean, Noctis, every now and again, he just pulls these great defensive rockets. You think he's in a bad spot, but then he turns around and just nails just perfect placement.
And it forces you to really, you've got to doubt the decision. You've got to ask yourself a question in a split second. Is it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit you with that. It's like you risk charging. It's just one more hit away.
GaRpY's going in, but unfortunately, a lot of damage that is not being dealt back for now. I mean, even with all these weapons, I mean, they're really not phasing Noctis. That's why he's sort of able to just sit there with a heavy machine gun. He's doing so much damage. GaRpY almost stubbornly trying to land those rockets, but they just were too slow. I mean, Noctis is going to dodge those all day while doing heavy machine gun, and it's uncontested damage.
I think stubborn is definitely the right word for that engagement. Again, I would like to hear what the player was thinking in that aspect. Maybe he thought Noctis was lower than he was based on the way he was playing it back there, but yeah, it didn't work out well for him.
But the thing is, if he wins this round, it's going to be one map up for Noctis, and obviously half of the work will already be done on the verge of getting into grand finals. So GaRpY's going to be in a difficult spot. Made comebacks before, but I think, there we go. He'll be quite happy not having to make comebacks every single time he plays at this level.
That was a great ambush. Noctis didn't even see him coming.
And to be honest, actually, I feel like ambushes are something we haven't seen as much of on this map between these two guys. You know, where you see someone, they'll be very patient, they'll wait for the moment to sort of like drop on, but they normally kind of just sort of meet in the middle, and then a fight breaks out.
Yeah, and especially at this level too, a lot of these, they're so good at tracking their opponent. It's very rare that they either know exactly where they are, or at least have some general idea they're in this area of the map. So that's always interesting, the cat-mouse aspect of this game, and who can make the correct reads on the other player.
GaRpY needs to be able to tie things up temporarily, so it's going to be very important for him to stay in the fight right now, but I'm interested to see that next from GaRpY. I don't think we've seen a huge amount come out of it, but he's done some magical things.
Love the movement, though, from Anarchy. Both these professionals are so smooth with it.
I mean, it's like butter, isn't it? One of the funnest things in this game to watch is a silky smooth Anarchy.
Yeah, it's just great the way they move around, and then able to have the presence of mind to land those rockets as they're flying around these corners.
While trying to dodge rockets as well. I mean, your mind must be going at a million miles an hour. And speaking of which, the final rocket he had in the tank was the one that got the job done.
Just don't miss.
That's it. The golden rule, isn't it? Make sure you're hitting those shots, mate.
Oh, man. Great aggression there. As we were just saying, coming in at 100 miles an hour with Anarchy and just landed some great shots.
But, I mean, just like that, it looked like it was in GaRpY's favor. That one rocket put GaRpY in a situation where attacking now becomes a massive risk, even though he's still got 75 health. This is not much, but speaking of which, another fantastic rocket hits its mark.
How about that? Clutch 3 health. I mean, he really needed that rocket. I have no doubt Noctis was going to do a quick switch to something else because he had to know he was low. So great comeback for GaRpY. Again, props to both players, though, man. We're seeing some great stuff out of both these guys.
There's no doubt about that. Absolutely. And this is the kind of level of play you will be seeing this far in the tournament. These players are some of the absolute best in the world for a good reason.
So here we go into a tie-breaking round. Who will take the first map? Obviously, you always want to get off to that first map win in these matches and put your opponent in the hole.
And challenging the LG is going to be a little bit risky, but here comes Noctis of his own. Unfortunately, not really able to return the favor just yet. But yeah, GaRpY doesn't really want to be stuck between that acid spit and nail gun together. Not a nice combination.
Not quite as stubborn that time. Maybe he, thought better about it based on his experience last time getting in a fight like that.
That would definitely make sense, but trying to take the fight head on, but actually ran out of LG. Yeah, forced to just run away in general.
Yeah, he took a bit of damage himself. He's going to have to regroup and be careful here with the sword light coming.
Both players weak, but this was the one actually sort of looking to stand his ground there just in case GaRpY came back.
And I think GaRpY, I think it's pretty clear. He's pretty strong on Doomslayer. I think I would agree with him. It looks like his strongest champion.
I think it's actually, it's almost like in this meta, right, like Doomslayer becomes so prominent because those rockets are such a dangerous tool. He's one of those unique champions that it's a little bit easier for him to dodge some of those rockets because of the sporadic double jumps.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as we know, the technique in Quake is aiming at the feet, aiming at those ankles. Doing that double jump allows you to jump over those rockets rather consistently.
I think it's, we'll pretty much be seeing that put to good use, but yeah, there's more of that heavy machine gun. And GaRpY's pretty much, I think he's had probably the most impressive heavy machine gun all day, I think.
Oh yeah, his lightning gun actually so far in this match has been just lights out.
But this is a great situation for GaRpY. I mean, it was looking good for Noctis beforehand, but they've both got one round away from this map. Definitely evenly matched on a map like Corrupted Keep. Oh! Minimal damage coming through that rocket, though. It looked like it might have been a little bit closer than it was. And this is that moment. They're both being so careful. GaRpY, this is his time to strike. Unfortunately, going down there near the heavy. And this is where Noctis follows through.
Yeah, and then Sorlag picked up the heavy after that big fight there. So all that damage he did was, as I call it, empty damage in Duel. I call it damage. If you're doing 100 damage to somebody, they're just picking up stuff. It doesn't mean anything.
Definitely. Oh, and there's that shotgun at the last second.
This is really going to hurt. Now GaRpY will be on champions with much smaller stacks than the Sorlag. At least with the Doomslayer, you know, when he's stacked, yeah, he has a decent stack compared to the Sorlag. So.
An issue is GaRpY, I mean, whenever he's fresh off the spawn, he really tries to sort of like rush the job, but that was a painful super shotgun. But wow, another rocket! Is it going to be swiftly undone? Gets to the Mega in time, and that might be game-changing! GaRpY, I mean, alive with a hair's length. That was insane. 7
health. I'm sure Noctis is going to be looking for him.
Important that not only getting the health there, but getting some of those rockets back, especially now he's against another Anarchy.
He got restacked pretty darn quick. Noctis might make a miscalculation here because of that. Oh, great rockets, though. Yeah, I mean, it didn't matter.
Yeah, looking so good for GaRpY, and then he pops that one injection, can't really get the final rocket, and then Noctis understanding, well, if GaRpY's probably gonna be a little bit weaker here, maybe I can finish it, and it's just another great decision. And
it's just one of those situations as well. We've seen it when players try to hatch the armor, camp on it like it's an egg, and you know, it's a very dangerous thing to do. In duels, you don't ever, unless you have the exact timing, you want to grab something, you don't ever want to sit on top of it. You want to get position around it and just be in defensible position.
The thing is, GaRpY forced to use that Ghost Walk. Yes, he's got the heavy armor, but to be honest, Nyx with heavy armor versus Noctis's rockets, that doesn't mean a huge amount. At this close range too, I mean, I'm not so sure. That's one, but not a huge amount so far.
He's in trouble here.
Yep, he's got the height advantage.
GaRpY was just
executed.
Yep, just beautiful placement of the rockets. Wouldn't allow him to escape. He knew he couldn't get to the jump pad, so I like the way he was delivering those rockets, making sure he's pushing him more and more to the edge of that map, giving him little room to move.
And just in the blink of an eye, really, GaRpY straight back into this fight. He was pretty far behind, but I think there's one thing he's been able to display so far is that he will never give up, right? You know, he'll just stare into the face of defeat and just keep playing.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get to this level by giving up.
Definitely not.
Oh.
Dearie me. That's the corrupted keep going down, and what a fitting way for that map to end. Just a surprise rocket out of nowhere, hitting its mark 100%. But there you go, GaRpY is in the lead for now.
Very tough, very close. But in the end, he got it done with some clutch, very clutch shots. How many times? I think there was at least 3 moments in that match where GaRpY landed a shot to get a kill when he was under 10 health.
Now, I'll be honest, I find the map choice to be ridiculously interesting. It's what we could see from him. Nice. Because, I mean, just at that last moment, you know, the entire round, you might feel like GaRpY might be a little bit behind, and then just in the blink of an eye, gets one really, really crucial frag, and then one rocket later, and he's up the map. I mean, that is really a testament as to, I guess, how dangerous this tool is. You know, post-patch, where the rockets are becoming as prominent as they are, and you've got 2 guys behind the wheel that are some of the best fraggers in the business. I mean, it's a great combination.
I'm just amazed. To have ice water in your veins like that, because he knows. These players know when they're low. So when he's at 3 health, 4 health, he's like, oh, I have to hit this shot. And to be able to hit that shot when you're already like mentally telling yourself, if I don't hit this shot, I'm dead, that's a little extra pressure on yourself. And he really came through several times in that match.
Well, so much of it must just be instinctive at this stage. Because I mean, these guys, not only do they have extensive experience in Quake Champions already, but they have extensive experience in Quake in general, right? So these sort of like situations where you don't really have time to think about what's at stake. You just got to land your shot, and you got to land it well. I think both these players are going to be heavily experienced in that. Now, I think inevitably, now we're obviously going to see rail come into play. GaRpY has had some pretty disgusting rails, but as we've seen on Sacrifice, Noctis is no stranger to landing those clutch shots at the last minute. I think it could be very much the same what we've seen so far, but to be honest, I think either of these maps could give us a really interesting result. It's going to be Blood Run, though. Interesting.
Yeah, curious again, champion picks. I'd be shocked if Noctis didn't have Sorlag like he usually does. He usually has his Anarchy Sorlag mix. And
there we go.
Yep. I'm curious to see what the 3rd champion going, Doomslayer, and GaRpY going with Nyx. Okay.
Now, I think that these picks definitely make sense. You know, we've seen these champions come through. I think with these 2 players actually in particular, they've not really been straying away from what they know, which is actually in some ways kind of strange for GaRpY, because GaRpY, particularly when he plays the Sacrifice team with Myztro, like he's kind of that pick that will change depending on the map they play. We've seen historically GaRpY would actually change different champions from map to map. I feel like recently though, he has been kind of sticking with what he knows is working for him. And if watching players like Dewey has anything to show, it's that you can still put personal stamps on champions that you know you play well and can get good results with.
Well, like there's an old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So if it's working working for him. He's been very dominant this tournament, GaRpY. He hasn't lost a game. So, yeah, I guess he's, go with what's working, go with what you're confident with. It's good to be versatile, but at the same time, it's good to recognize when you're hot, when you're doing well with a certain combination. As what John Madden used to say with running the football, keep running the same play till they stop it.
I mean, that's going to be like a common theme, I think, going into this next map. It's going to be map number 2, Blood Run, GaRpY and Noctis. I mean, that first map was insanely close, so we can probably expect things to repeat themselves somewhat, but them going with pretty much identical champions. Sorlag with Noctis. I mean, some players have said they don't really believe Sorlag to be as good as she was once before, but I think Noctis has a couple of things to say about that. He's had such great results with this champion today.
Well, yeah, she's not quite as strong as you, but she's still very, very viable. It's all about having the champion in the right hands.
However, GaRpY's kind of trapped. That last-minute turn to the right just to dodge that rail.
Nice bait of that shot. He was really in a bad position there. You've seen a lot of people get trapped in that stairwell and die today.
And there's the Berserk just to be a little bit safer. And that's the thing, right? Even though I've said it time and time again, but it doesn't give Doomslayer a speed boost. It kind of just puts him at his max speed straight away. In that instance where if he's standing still, you're probably expecting him to go a certain speed. And then when he pops Berserk, it's like zoom, straight out of there. Yeah, it's a speed that some people might not be ready for.
Yeah, absolutely. Limits your chance to land that shot. And especially if you're going to line up a rocket or anything like that, the projectile's not going to land in time.
I do like GaRpY's ability to recover. I mean, he's been actually sort of consistently stuck here, but I like that, actually. Listening out to the Tribots and going, well, if he's got a Tribot, maybe I can probably win this exchange. He's got one more rocket. Is it enough? No! He did land a fantastic shot, but he'd run out.
Oh, man. For a second there, I thought at first it looked so bad. I was like, Noctis has got him here for sure. And then he lands that mid-air rocket. I'm like, wait a minute.
I mean, if he had one more rocket in the tank, then perhaps.
Yeah, he just didn't have enough.
But he just didn't. That's unfortunate. But good day for GaRpY to sort of, understand that, well, I died, but at least I hit the shot. I could have won if I just had an extra rocket there.
And so now he's got to be careful running around to Anarchy with Sorlag on this map.
Which is a very preemptive acid spit. Very, very preemptive. However, oh, nice! I mean, where are these even coming from, Machiavelli?
I don't know, man. This is just great placement. He's really, you got to read your opponent and judge where you think they're going, and he's just taking good angles.
And there's the trap. It's been set. Even without acid spit, if you've got some of those rockets, you can still get a nice amount of damage on Anarchy, not even needing the ability, even though we see that a lot with Sorlag. Oh, GaRpY, that's not the first time he's walked into the Noctis trap right there.
Yeah, that's actually a really bad area for Anarchy. You got to be careful going through that area by the super shotgun and that, because it's so tight and it leads you into an RL fight a lot of times. And as we've seen, Anarchy can only take 2 good rockets, and that's it. He's done. Minimal
rooms to escape too. There are a couple of points, even though Anarchy is kind of historically, it's a good map for him to sort of run around quite quickly and maintain a lot of control too. There are certain points in this map where if he gets knocked up, I mean, like right actually there where GaRpY currently is sitting, that's one of the rooms that you don't want to get locked down.
Yeah, it limits your ability to move, which Anarchy, that's his big thing, being able to move around quickly, and you don't want to put yourself in these tight corridors like that. So he's kind of a funny character on this map, because on one hand, yeah, he can get around the map really quickly, run a lot of items, but that stack, again, running into people is dangerous, as we just seen. He puts some decent damage, but it really doesn't matter because he doesn't have a lot to take, so you got to be careful.
Well, this has been a great round for Noctis so far. I really think his Sorlag is just very, very impressive indeed. And even though GaRpY tried to use the wall jump, Noctis was still ready for that specific maneuver. I mean, that's knowledge, isn't it?
Yeah, just a great swap to the rail. It was good. It was good weapon switch recognition. He landed the rocket down below. Let's see this again. Look, this is
check this out. I mean, he actually got knocked up a little bit higher, I believe. I think he was ready for the wall jump.
Yeah, he exactly what happened. And then it was just a good recognition of the switch. It's a deadly combo in Quake to knock somebody up with a rocket launcher and quick switch to a railgun and get that hit. It's highly risky but highly rewarding, as you know, because a railgun is you got to be very accurate with it.
Yeah, no one ever wants to get stuck during the downtime, but at this level of play, I mean, I wonder if that miss is even possible. When it's that lined up, I mean, you must make a really big mistake to miss a shot like that.
Oh, I miss them all the time, don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
Again here, oh, nice.
Yeah, Noctis caught off guard right there.
I think it's really important for GaRpY, to keep his Doomslayer.
Yeah, the danger is wasn't really able to capitalize because of that taking damage, right? I mean, even without the taking damage, he was quite weak.
I just think that stack really causes his other champion's problem. I don't I don't necessarily agree that Nyx and Anarchy are the best picks to go against the Sorlag.
It's been quite a common problem too. Actually, sort of Noctis didn't quite manage to get the heavy so easily as well. A couple of fumbles there, but not wasting too much time, especially this early on in the round too.
Yeah, a lot can happen. Either player is just looking for that first frag. First frag is so critical in duel.
Oh, that's hit one rail. Unfortunately, was unable to return the second.
Nice rail there.
Yeah, nice patience.
Really read him. That was very much a timing shot with the rail. You see, he was already ready to back out for that room.
Oh, comes a little bit stuck near the heavy, but that natural stack's going to keep GaRpy alive for now. And actually, we've actually seen the tri-bolt used a couple of times. The tri-bolt being changed where it now detonates on impact, doing its full 50 damage per shot of, a maximum of 3 shots. It's very effective on this map in particular for just denying these hallways out of teleporter.
Yeah, you can really shoot that down, and especially in the mega health area, there's a lot of different uses, whether it's doorways, hallways. You see these players really utilizing these weapons in various ways. So, as a good duelist, a good Quake player, there should not be any weapon off the table for you.
Yeah, particularly, that was a nice rail too, keeping him on the back foot ever so slightly, but what I'm seeing is actually you get less rockets now too. I think, being able to sort of go for that sort of last minute spam, it's important now that you've got this other weapon that can have area denial without having to go to your rockets all the time.
Yeah, I agree. It saves your rockets for a more critical position and allows you just to do area denial with the tri-bolt.
GaRpy's sitting on 20 rockets though. I mean, that's a lot of damage that we might be seeing, especially seeing as GaRpy's been on the money so often, but of the way Noctis is approaching this.
Yeah, he's playing a real slow game here right now. He wants to make sure his stack's completely up a Sorlag, probably catch him with an ambush. Oh man, great shots by GaRpy. He's probably gonna get the kill here. Oh.
I actually thought he was probably going to the LG instead of the rail because he was probably expecting Noctis to try and fight that.
Yeah, yeah. I thought maybe he'd go for the money shot as he call it there. Oh my gosh.
I mean, okay, so that was ridiculous because the rocket sent him in the exact trajectory he needed to get that airborne punch to allow that frag. That was ridiculous.
And again, just getting out of there by the... It's just so close. 23 health. Oh my goodness, his rockets. Noctis is in trouble here.
I mean, yeah, why even switch the rail in that scenario? You've got a couple of good rockets. Noctis is now knocked into the air. What's he going to do about that? Perfectly executed by GaRpy. That was almost a good rocket as well.
He's just really on top of things. I was impressed watching his matches, his earlier matches. So he's playing really intelligent. And it just seems like anytime Noctis might get something going, it seemed like that last round might have been, GaRpy just has this ability to turn things around. He's playing out of his mind. Yeah,
there's always the possibility, right, that the first round is also data, for GaRpy, just understanding, right, how is my opponent going to really approach this map? And that one round might be all you need to understand, and now it catches a little bit of a turnaround. Noctis is not even going to be able to remotely fight for that mega. That's why we see that injection just getting out of there as fast as possible. He was on the brink of death at that moment.
Okay. Now Noctis is in a bad position here. GaRpy's going to likely get this heavy armor. He's going to be fully stacked, and Noctis is going to be in full survival mode. But he's only got 50 seconds left. So
that's where things get harder, isn't it?
He's just got to go for broke.
Problem is, if you're going to go for an aggressive approach, you're going to put yourself so vulnerable and a little bit, potentially actually more predictable going in line, and he's got plenty of these rockets just trying to pepper down, keep him at arm's reach, and if he's going to try and get away right there, if he's going to take the mega, do as much damage as possible, and by the time he comes back, he's actually gone straight past. 30 seconds left. Noctis needs to make something happen. He's going to try now with the LG. Can he finish the job here?
Ooh, really close.
I love that double jump activity. The Anarchy jump just to get over. Going through LG. Oh, the last minute rail. That was so brave.
a 7 health rail shot. I would imagine GaRpy's going to slow play. It's going to be hard to find him. Noctis knows it's going to be hard pressed to find him. He's just going to sit in the corner.
And now we have 5 seconds left, even though he's got that heavy GaRpy now with the Ghost Walk. That's it.
It's it. There's Ghost Walk, and it's a wrap.
Okay, so even though he lost that round, that rail was still disgusting.
Yeah, it's one of those. Again, that's the experience. He knew he needed a big shot right there, and he's like, I'm just going to go for broke, switch to rail. Make sure if I hit this shot, he's going to die no matter what.
I loved that moment right there. As he goes around the corner with Berserk, he hits the rocket. It sends him flying into Noctis' face, and that's exactly what GaRpy actually wanted in that situation.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Noctis. Can't say that doesn't happen sometimes when you're fighting with rockets. It's like, oh, I want to keep him away from me. Oh, crap, I just bounced him right in my face.
Yeah, normally that happens with Anarchy, right? You sort of catch him, he's got that air movement, he just flies in, you've almost done him a favor, but yes, Doomslayer's got those strats as well.
Nice rail. Nice peak rail. Oh, he definitely heard that sound cue.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Undoing some of it, but Swiftly returned by Noctis.
Ooh, he barely got that armor as well. Oh man, but Noctis with these rails right now. Ooh, GaRpY brave, peeking out here again like this.
Actually, he's got no more rails, another problem. Just consistently, actually, because you get that slightly less ammo for some of these weapons, and the rail being one of those prominent examples. Some of these players, they are consistently kind of, they're peeking around the corner, but they don't have any of the ammo to get the shot. Even if they have it lined up, I mean, there's no payout there.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that a player can lose track of in intense matches like this.
That's going to be undone though. He has got 5 more rails locked and loaded. Bottom a little bit, I think GaRpY's going to try and get out, but yeah, that's an easy rail for Noctis to land.
Yeah, he's coming in for the kill here.
And he's likely to secure it, especially with a rocket like that one, just catching him when he was a little bit vulnerable, finishing the job with the LG. Now he's onto the Anarchy. We've seen Anarchy do some good things, but again, it's going to be a consistent problem actually dealing with the Saw lag versus Anarchy. It's a bit of a difficult matchup, I feel, on this map. You can so consistently run around the corner, and if Saw lag's right there, then you're on borrowed time.
And it was a good job by Noctis, as you mentioned, that rocket he hit for that kill. It didn't do a ton of damage, but it disrupted GaRpY's movement so he couldn't get away.
And GaRpY on the back foot again. Actually, a little bit risky for Noctis to go for that rocket jump before the heavy, because he was so weak before collecting it, but now he's able to sort of get that stack back up with that 100 armor too. Happy days.
Yeah, he's in decent shape here, but again, GaRpY's just, man, he's clutch. He really is. Like, some of the things he's been doing during this event is really unreal.
I think his ability to survive too. It can be so irritating when you get Anarchy just to the brink of death and just, you know, within half a second he's got his stack back up because you let him live or weren't quite able to get the final shot. Actually caught temporarily off guard going in for the assets, but is that going to be actually a bit of a detriment? He didn't really manage to land any of those spits.
I don't think so, no. Then he didn't even get the dot on him at all.
Oh no,
man, nice
what a
shot.
turnaround for GaRpY. I feel like that was really well executed.
And that health's not there. Yeah, he's going to sit here in the blood and try to regenerate as best he can.
He's going to take him all. Yep, just use the teleporter just in case. I actually think he was going to maybe follow him through. But oh, wow!
Miscalculation. He, you know, he thought he might come through the portal, but GaRpY, I think, came up from behind him.
I mean, that was pretty much a perfect example of I zig, you zag.
Yeah, he took the jump pad up on the other side of that pit, came up and had a nice angle on Noctis, got the kill.
I mean, that must have just been like, because Noctis was so convinced that he was going to follow him through that teleporter, he must have just not factored the alternate route. And if he's waiting for him there, he's going to be completely vulnerable. Here he goes, Noctis now in big trouble. GaRpY's going to chase this one down. Waiting there with the bubble, but somehow goes through with the Berserk. Can he finish it? Unfortunately, Noctis, if he's that weak and the splash damage is that potent, I don't think it was likely he was going to get that punch.
Yeah, that was a great combination by GaRpY to set up that kill. And yeah, I mean, he smelled blood, and so that was just straight chase him down at that point.
Respect Noctis' attempt to actually just go, well, if I'm likely to go down here, I might try and do as much damage as possible. It was like Gauntlet first, pretty much revving it, and then he had Berserk. So it would have been a nice, respectable amount of damage before he went down, but...
He was just too low, though. I mean, he had a sliver, so... He was probably at 10 health, 5 health.
Must have been expecting the Anarchy to chase it down. Oh, that last-minute rocket dodge, still alive, but for how long?
Oh, nice defensive rockets again.
You were saying, right? I mean, just before we can even finish.
Yep, and then good timing. You know, he knew that armor was going to be up, took a jump, grabbed it, turned right around. Well-placed rockets. Noctis has nowhere to move in that hallway. GaRpY looking strong.
And he's actually going to be one round away. And that was that moment, right, where he's sort of gone down in the blood. He was very weak. He'd heard the Anarchy movement, decided to sort of go to teleporter instead. Must have been so convinced he was going to be chased, was not ready for that other angle. Yep,
not at all. I mean, you don't see that very often. You don't see players like this get shot with their back turned.
I mean, this is a great situation for GaRpY. Match point. If he wins this round, he will be in the grand finals, and it will be a Myztro grand final. It would be utterly insane, but what a journey both of these players would have had. But you can't count out Noctis. He has made some insane comebacks in the past, actually. Made a miraculous comeback against Razy at QWC Regional, so he's got that clutch in him.
We'll see, though. It's going to be hard pressed because GaRpY, look at, I mean, he's just playing so smooth.
Oh, my God.
Goodness.
Give us one more. Give us one more, GaRpY. Why not?
There you go. People. That's as a reading him like a book. I mean, come on. That's just unbelievable stuff from GaRpY right there.
And if you're able to send that message this early on in the round of which you are match point on, I mean, like, come on, what a start for you.
Yeah, things might start to unravel a little bit for Noctis now. He could be feeling the pressure. GaRpY's, I mean, he's really playing good.
Now, when Noctis fought off against Kilson, he did sort of show elements of frustration when the shots just came through over and over again. You know, will he show the same level of frustration when he's this far behind? I'm not sure.
Well, it's certainly frustrating when people are hitting you with great combos like that. And it just seems like I can't even take a peek around the corner without getting railed or eating a rocket. So props to GaRpY, man. He's really running this match. And just
trying to challenge at the rockets. He's not getting as much damage as he has done previously, though. Popping the Berserk just to try and be a little bit safe. But even at that health, Noctis has to be wary of those punches.
Yeah, he was able to get out. And again, you know, the rocket play really discouraged Noctis. He didn't want, you know, he was able to use that Berserk to get away, but Noctis didn't exactly chase.
Exactly. I mean, like, the thing is, he's taken so much damage and he's lost so many lives actually trying to chase because of those rockets. I think he's thinking twice when this one chase you do could send you out of the tournament. Yeah,
and especially after what happened at the end of the last round. You know, you went after him and 8-2 mean rockets and just took him out. So it does a lot, you know, for GaRpY because it keeps Noctis at bay, keeps him honest from pushing, even when he thinks he has a slight advantage. You know, good play. Oh, man.
I think we'll turn the music off on that one. How about that? Just like that. I mean, it was a good turnaround for Noctis. He sort of beat him towards the Mega. I think GaRpY kind of did try to stay there, but even if he landed one of those punches, I think he was still going to be in a very bad spot. But at that choice, he had dedicated so hard, I didn't really have any other options.
Yeah, it was big for Noctis to get this frag here. Things weren't looking very good for him. The momentum seemed to be all on GaRpY's side. Maybe he can get something going for him right now.
It's a great opening. Ooh. Yeah, there's some of that denial. Noctis doesn't really want to use too many of those rails just yet. Oh dear.
Again,
oh no!
The rockets from GaRpY, you know, really set up that suicide. I mean, look how much health he still has. He really punished Noctis for moving into that zone.
Unfortunately, he's actually caught him fresh off the spawn as well. Now it's going to be Doomslayer. The problem is Doomslayer versus Anarchy is not really the most favorable matchup in some of these exchanges because Anarchy, I mean, he can keep up with Doomslayer for days. There's no way Doomslayer can run away. And with rockets like that, can you even do anything else? And Noctis with the suicide at the last minute. I think you realize enough is enough. GaRpY, you can move on into grand finals. He's going to do it, and it will be Myztro. That flag is being held rather high, isn't it?
I think what happened there is GaRpY threw that prediction rocket up into the hallway, and Noctis wanted to peek out and probably shoot one down to the tribal area, which is a common strategy to make sure nobody's down there. And the rocket knocked him into the wall, and then he shot the wall and died right after.
I mean, seeing it from GaRpY's perspective, right, we'll never see, but I mean, what do you reckon about that, Jahar? GaRpY pulling it off for another time. He's got one more series to go.
Can I watch that multiple combo kill like 20 times in a row? That was like the greatest thing I've ever seen. In fact, what was great about seeing it is that you couldn't see that last rocket. You just, you know, saw it fired off there and got a frag out of it. That was just absolutely insane. And of course, GaRpY, like you said, it's going to be a Myztro final in the $35,000 Duel Cup here. Oh, man. Wow. Man.
I mean, they're going to be proud of their boys. I mean, what else can you say about it? They've been playing out of their mind today, continuing to do so, even with, you know, Razy and Dewey. It was Myztro anyway, but it's been a great tournament for them and GaRpY. You know, I'm glad, you know, Zoot's going to be in the background, probably like cheering his guts out, but GaRpY's been able to pull this one off. He's been a machine from start to finish.
Well, they're only going to have a brief break before the actual grand final. Let's take a look at those top 3 shots, though. Again, I hope it's that combo kill, like, again and again and again. I could watch that one all day. I'm sure there's going to be some other ones in here.
I mean, it could just be 3 clips of that combo kill, right? But that was one of the turning points.
Yeah, that was a great combo there, the LG to Rocket.
And I mean, like, Corrupted Keep, it was quite a foreshadowing map, really, wasn't it? Went back and forth, but the second we went onto map number 2, that's where things really started to change.
And what a decisive blood run, really. I mean, it was back and forth for a little while, but of course, GaRpY came out swinging. And speaking of GaRpY, ta-da!
Well, how are you feeling?
I can't explain it. Literally, everything's just gone right for me this tournament. I don't know, I really doubt myself when I'm playing. And maybe I should think of myself a bit more of a better player. I'm always up there, but never been
well, clearly,
able to get there.
Clearly, this is your moment, right? I mean, you've got one more series to go. You know, it's going to be a team kill no matter what. I know Zoot, like his team in the background, he's more than happy with your playstyle. But I mean, your rocket placement has been out of this world. What is it really about the way you like to sort of handle the rocket launcher that just makes you such a beast?
I don't know. The thing is, the patch before this, I felt really confident with the LG, but I've always been kind of a rocket rail player. So the patch, I don't know. I think it's just not panicking. When you hit that first shot, just don't panic. Predict where they're going. When you get them and they're flying about, then it's easy to pick them off. It's just, I don't know. It's just gone really well for me.
Now you talk about predicting where they're going. Can you walk us through that shot on the teleporter exit? That was nasty. You walked away from it because cool guys don't look at explosions.
Oh, I was waiting for that one.
Well, I thought he'd be waiting up there for me. And as I went up there and I saw he just had the back to him, he must have just had the pummel out so he couldn't hear the rocket coming. And he moved at the last second and it just, well, splattered him. I knew he was low and he thought that I was going to chase him. And I knew he'd be waiting there because it was the only way he was going to get away with killing me. So I just thought, well, I'll go around and play it safe. And yeah, it worked out really well.
And there we have it.
Can you speak a little bit? It seemed like you were getting some really good reads on your opponent, kind of figuring out his patterns, where he wanted to go. Even there at the end, when he killed himself, you know, you threw that rocket up into that hallway. A nice prediction rocket. You hit him with 100 damage. I think it knocked him into the wall because I think he wanted to shoot a return rocket, you know, as people usually do down the tribal area. And I think that's why he suicided, as we couldn't see it. But your shot was great. Can you speak a little? Were there any cues you were picking up on? Any patterns maybe you're noticing?
When I fired that rocket, I knew he was tilted a little bit, and because I just killed him, I knew he was going to go aggressive. And I heard him pick up the little armor shard, and it's the only way he was going to come at me with the position I was. So the only thing I could do was spam that off, because I knew the Mega was up soon. So I just thought, I'll spam it. I hit him with the 100 rocket, and I think that just tilted him over the edge. I think he just killed himself after that.
And there were a couple of moments in the match, too. You landed a clutch rocket. You were like 7 health, 3 health. Did you even realize how low you were in the middle of that fight, or was it till after you got the frag, you're like, oh no, look how low I am?
I never look at my health. To be fair, I'll go into that, because when you're playing with rockets, like you say, with a prediction, if you're looking at health, you start panicking. It's like, I need to hit this shot. So I do try not to look at my health when I'm fighting. I kind of judge how low I am, but sometimes I don't. And like you say, you kill them with a rocket and you go, Jesus, I've only got 7 health.
You just tape a bit of notepaper up on the corner of your screen. You don't really need that portion of it. Well, fantastic stuff. And GaRpY, I want you to take a good look at this bracket because you are right up there in the grand final. It's going to be you and Razy.
Yeah.
Now, how often have you been able to practice against Razy in this LAN?
Well, we flew in a day early and we actually went to an internet cafe.
That's right.
And we played about 6 hours straight.
Did they complain much about the gigabits that you were wasting there?
But I don't know, me and Razy have played. Razy's a funny guy, as in when he's practicing, he seems like he takes it easy on you. Because literally we played for 6 hours and I think out of like 24 maps, he won 4. But when he goes into tournament, he's just a different animal. He's just, I don't know, he steps his game up from there to there.
Is that giving you any concern going into the grand final?
Hopefully, our practice games, he's got a little mental block. But
well, we'll see. Of course, we do have the Sacrifice Grand Final coming up first. So, GaRpY, you have a small moment to take a breather. You know, don't get off your game. But congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Guys, we're going to go right into Sacrifice here after a short break. The thrilling conclusion of DreamHack Denver 2017 is upon us, and we'll catch you on the flip side.